All right, thank you for having me back again this year. I do also have a video, and it's much not nearly as good as the last two, so just bear with me on that. But so I'm Abby. I'm a consultant in the field of prevention here in the state. I work on local and statewide projects. This is one that's near and dear to my heart. I really truly believe this is, and I'm seeing it be a solution here in our community. So I'm going to jump right in. I'm not going to share too much about what 100% Communities is. I'm happy to meet with you if you'd like to learn more, but I'll briefly go over this. Essentially, this is a model that came out of New Mexico and something that we prevention folks, nonprofit, social service agencies came across a few years ago and really liked it. We felt like this would be a solution to some of the fragmentation and siloing that we're seeing between social service agencies and nonprofits, and essentially just vital services here in our community. And so how this framework is broken down is looking at 10 vital services that are necessary in every community for them to thrive. And even in some cases just survive. So the first 5 are broken down in like that survival category, which pretty obvious here: medical, dental, behavioral health, housing security, food security, and then transportation to vital services. The next 5 are considered what a community needs to get beyond just surviving and into that thriving mode, and that is parent supports, early childhood education, community schools, youth mentor programs, and job training. So we took this on back in 2022. We came across the model and officially launched it in 2023. We did actually what we're calling a community access assessment, and you can find that online. Basically, we received the rankings of all 10 of these vital services in our community and how our residents view them in terms of accessibility. What we found was that all of them were 54% or less accessible according to our residents. So the next step in the model is really to launch action teams, and that's to look at who's doing work within each of these vital services in our community and pull them around a table to have a deeper conversation about maybe what are the barriers to access and how can we put forth some real solutions. And so we launched that. As I mentioned, we launched the survey in 2023, and as soon as we got those results, we had a community town hall and several meetings to share out what we found, and then we launched action teams. I do like to mention that some of the action teams were already in place, so really what that looked like was reaching out to the leaders of those and the members and sharing what 100% Communities is and what we're trying to do, and offering them to come under that umbrella. So I'm happy to say we are at a place now where we have action teams that are working on those vital service areas, meeting on a somewhat regular basis, some better than others, I will say. And those are comprised of people working in that field, people with lived experience, people passionate about that topic here in our community. And then what I think has been so incredible about this model is our bi-monthly action team lead meetings. And that is where we are bringing the leads. Some of the teams have 2 leads, others have 1, together on a regular basis to have conversations about what they're doing within their action teams. What are the barriers? What are the challenges that they're facing? And how can we work more collaboratively together to make a difference here in our community? And I'll talk just a teeny bit more about that. So really, some big wins since launching have been shifting this perspective of maybe an agency being in charge of this entire vital service and looking at this as a vital service, like housing, transportation, childcare. So we're not talking about one agency, we're talking about that vital service in general here in our community. And we're kind of taking like a third-party perspective on that by using this 100% Communities model. So it really has kind of shifted the lens and the conversation around the table and creating an environment that's a little bit more collaborative. And we have also, another major win, we have taken inventory of what is happening, what's being discussed in our community, and and potentially looking at where are we duplicating efforts. What we found is within 3 of those vital services, we had multiple meetings talking about very similar goals and projects in the community. We've also been able to increase, opportunities to leverage resources, increase partnerships, and just collaborative efforts in general. But then also look at where are the gaps? What are some of those 10 vital services? What are some areas that aren't being talked about in the community? So really, I think just pausing and taking inventory of what's happening in our community versus not has been a major win in itself. Examples of those were our housing, behavioral health, and transportation. We have seen mergers of meetings and coalitions, grant-funded projects coming together for the first time ever in some cases to reduce the amount of meetings, break down, duplication of efforts, and potentially just leverage more resources and partner. And so the other and last big win was as we launched these action teams, what we found was a lack of a really user-friendly resource directory here in our community. So, we've talked about it several times here today even. Say a family is new to this area, where are they getting plugged into resources? And we have some ideas that it could be, through our schools, it could be public libraries, our chambers, your medical provider perhaps, but there really wasn't like one specific way, one form of entry for someone new in this community trying to get access to resources. So we took it upon ourselves and then got some statewide support through the Alaska Impact Alliance that had mental health trust funding, and found a technological solution. And this is my video I'm hoping will play.
First, you're going to want to download the 907 Navigation app in either the App Store or the Google Play Store. Once you open the app, it will ask if you want to allow notifications. You can allow that or not. And then you'll see this little disclaimer. Go ahead and hit continue. Once you pick your language, go ahead and hit next. And then here you'll select your location. You can either put in your zip code or choose from the boroughs listed. In this first tab, you can search for resources in many different categories. You can also check your eligibility for certain benefit programs. You can get instructions for navigating complex systems. Once you save anything in the app, it will be here in your favorites section. In the settings here, you can change your location and your language and many other things. Here you can ask our Resource Raven, which is an AI chatbot that will answer any questions you have. Let's say I want to navigate food. I can go into that here, and I can get a list of resources and the links associated with them. You can favorite a resource by clicking the heart, and those will show up in that favorites section on the home page. You can go into any of these 10 categories and get those same lists and also favorite. You can also search 211 inside of the app, which is the state's primary database for resources. You can also recommend a resource if you do not see that in your community or if there's something that needs to be updated. One thing to note if you are recommending a resource is to make sure you add the entire URL for your website, including that HTTPS. If you wanted to check your eligibility for different programs listed in the app, you can go here to the eligibility calculators. This will help you determine if you're eligible for those programs. You can go into the systems area, which will help you navigate complex systems. So let's go ahead and choose the Office of Children's Services. Maybe you want to know how OCS goes through the stages of an OCS case. You can get lots of guidance here as well as videos. Maybe you are being investigated by OCS and want to know what your rights are. You can find that here. Maybe you want to go into the legal system and find out more. There's lots of information here. In the settings area, you can change your language, your location. You can contact us and send us any questions or comments you might have. You can also read our privacy policy, learn more about the Alaska Impact Alliance, and much more. This app is free and there's no user login. Our team has inputted a ton of resources already, but it will only get better with the more that you and your community recommend to us, so please do that. This app is built by Alaskans for Alaskans, and we appreciate you guys downloading it and collaborating on it with us.
Okay, so I'm glad that worked. It doesn't always work. So I think one of the most important pieces here is to really highlight the recommend a resource option of the app. So this went from our local 100% communities initiative and wanting to find a technological solution to now a statewide endeavor. And so it looks big and it looks comprehensive, and in some ways that's really good. But what I love about it is that this is really a platform offered to communities to build out on their own. So it's not a group in Anchorage deciding what this looks like. It's really on us as a community to get in there and recommend resources and to keep a pulse on what we have entered. And that is what we're going to be doing through our 100% Communities initiative. That's one of the biggest questions I get is how will this be sustainable? Each of our action teams will be overseeing that particular vital service area, so we have the right people around the table, making sure that the resources that are in there are accurate and up to date on an annual basis, if not more than that. So that is built into it, and I think that's one of the best aspects of this app is that it's really just a platform for communities to use at whatever level they want to use it. And then the other piece is that since it's launched, and this launched 2 days before Project Homeless Connect in January, right? Yeah. And we're getting more and more community feedback as communities are downloading it. One of the pieces is that currently all of the resources are just listed in alphabetical order, and as we add resources, it's getting to be a lot. So they have now just included subcategories so we can further filter and sort within those vital services. So for example, in medical, it could be primary care, specialty clinics, OBGYN, and we'll be able to sort and filter that way. And then the other piece that is currently in discussion and being built into it is GIS mapping as well. So again, all of that is coming from communities' feedback as they download the app and start using it, which is also really cool that it really is truly being built by our Alaskan communities. So that's what I have. Please do download the app. As it's mentioned, it's on Android or iPhone. There's also an online portal as well. If you're not an app person, you can go to Alaska Impact Alliance and check out the online portal. So that's really it. We're going to continue to expand our action teams here locally. We're going to continue to build and enhance the app for resource navigation and build capacity and sustainability around the project locally. If you're interested in getting involved in any of the action teams, please do reach out. I'm in the room. I think my email is on here somewhere, abby@sccalaska.com. So thanks, everyone.
Yeah.